So, 8 signs you might be suffering from poor gut health. Let's get started. So, hello, background. Poor gut health, as you know, it is a sign of your overall health. So, a lot of people don't realize that the sicker their gut is, the sicker they will feel. Now, it can be caused by many things, and one of the main causes is the unhealthy bacteria that's currently colonized in your gut. So, but that's not the only thing. So, you also have a lot of autoimmune issues, whether it be diabetes, lupus, chronic autoimmune conditions, and even some chronic gut conditions like IBS, which can also negatively impact your microbiome or the bacteria, the friendly bacteria in your gut, and make you feel sicker as well. So, 8 signs, let's begin. So, addiction to simple carbohydrates, that's the sweet stuff. So, a lot of people experience this where they get that sugar rush where they get a crash sore where they need to eat something to feel better. That is usually because of the bacteria in their gut. So, a lot of bacteria thrive on simple carbs. So, if you don't have enough, guess what they're going to do? They're going to begin to attack what you already have in your gut. So, then you're going to start craving more of that because you get that lull or that dip. Another thing that can happen is difficulty with concentration. So there's many reasons why we can have this, and one of the main ones is dealing with the blood-brain barrier. So that is actually a network of blood vessels in your brain that help to protect the brain from toxins and other nasty things that could be in the bloodstream. However, once the gut is disrupted, guess what happens? All the toxins from your GI tract gets into your bloodstream, and we are finding out now that they can cross over that blood-brain barrier, get into the actual brain, and cause issues with focus. We are actually seeing a lot more issues with your gut of patients who have disease, so like ADHD, and even some of the autism spectrum kids as well. Number 3, GI distress. One of the more common ones, right? Periodic bloating, chronic constipation, chronic diarrhea, all those GI things that, that have been kind of smoldering for months, and we kind of take the over-the-counter meds to kind of buy us time. Those could be signs that your GI tract is screaming at you for help. Number 4, fatigue. Okay, big one. Who doesn't deal with fatigue? So let's talk about why. So with the gut, just like I said before, when that gut barrier breaks down, and toxins from the inside of the gut tract get into your bloodstream where they shouldn't be, that triggers your immune system response, and that in itself can make you feel fatigued as your body's chronically fighting low-grade infections, toxins, and other allergens that could enter your system that shouldn't be there. Number 5, changes in your weight. Now, that's one that I know a lot of people are talking about, especially with the advent of some of these new medications on the market. But with regards to weight, we're looking at people who deal with difficulty with losing weight, or the flip side, having a difficulty with trying to gain weight. And all these are tied in because what happens is when your gut is not well, you don't really absorb nutrients the way you should. And you find that your propensity to either gain or lose weight gets amplified for a lot of patients. So gut issues can affect your abilities, your body's ability to kind of thrive, especially when you're eating good food. So number 6, autoimmune disorders. So who doesn't know someone who has an autoimmune disorder, whether it's Hashimoto's, lupus, and in their family history, no one has that. I know from my personal experience, in my family, I have my mother who has psoriatic arthritis. Mind you, no one in our family has psoriasis or any kind of chronic arthropathy. But what I do know is that because of her gut health issues, I think this has put her on the path towards getting this particular ailment. So we do see a lot of autoimmune conditions start, and they typically start because of that insult. So when the gut is sick, many things get in, and what those do is when they get into your bloodstream, they trigger your immune system, like I said before, to begin the fight, and that's not what you want. Skin ailments. So a common one is like eczema. So we know for some kids, growing up, what we tell them as doctors is if your kid has eczema, your baby has eczema, try to lay off dairy. And there's a reason for it, because dairy itself for some kids can cause irritation of the skin. And you're wondering why and how. Same thing, breaking down of that special gut wall barrier. So the milk, which is an allergen, irritates the gut, breaks down the wall, toxins get into the bloodstream, trigger the immune response, and it manifests in skin rashes, itching, hives, you name it. So if you have unexplained skin symptoms despite, doing all the good things, which is moisturizing, wearing your sunscreen, drinking a lot of water, we know what we should do, you might want to consider maybe my gut's not right. And a biggie is poor sleep. Now, poor sleep is pretty controversial because it's kind of a chicken and egg situation. So did the gut health issues cause the poor sleep, or the poor sleep cause the gut health issues? So in my opinion, they kind of both feed into each other. So you have poor sleep that increases your level of inflammatory, pro-inflammatory hormones because of that stress on the system. That causes your immune system and even your gut barrier to kind of weaken. Toxins get in, they trigger the immune system even again, and they make things worse where you get chronic headaches, issues with fatigue and sleep issues. Then guess what happens? It continues the cycle. Then the sleep gets worse, the gut gets worse. So it's kind of one of those where you probably need to talk to someone to figure out, okay, yes, I'm having poor sleep. Do I really need the sleeping pill, or should I be looking deeper at the root cause as to why all of a sudden over the last few weeks or few months I'm not able to sleep, especially if it's in the face of having a few of the other ones I mentioned earlier. So we all know, poor gut health is a real serious issue, and we're seeing more and more of it these days because of all these hyper-processed foods that we are eating in the country. So do yourself a favor, look at the symptoms I mentioned above, see if you fall into the bracket of having a few of those, and have a good conversation with your qualified healthcare provider to see exactly if maybe you should get some gut health testing, or at least take a look at your lifestyle and see what you can do on your own to help improve your overall gut health. Hope this helped, guys. Take care.